What's up, everyone? This is your ghost host with the most, projectzerokram. And today we're going to the top 10 most haunted places in America that you may not know about. Sit back, relax, and let's get spooky.
Number 10. Feliska Axe Murder House, Iowa. In 1903, the Moore family bought a house in Feliska, Iowa. It wasn't until June 9th of 1912 when 8 people were brutally murdered with an axe. Those who got murdered were 4 more children, their 2 friends, ages 5 to 12, and the parents. This case has haunted the town for over 100 years and remains unsolved. The ghosts of the victims are said to still haunt this house. You can stay the night in the rooms where the family lost their lives. But just know, on November 7th, 2014, paranormal investigator Robert Larson Jr. was staying in the Axe Murder House when something suddenly possessed him. He then stabbed himself in the chest. Fortunately, he was able to be airlifted to the hospital and survived. But what caused him to do this? Number 9. Myrtles Plantation, St. Francisville, Louisiana. This Louisiana plantation was built in 1796 and is said to be the house of no less than 12 different ghosts. The plantation is said to be built on the burial ground of the Tunica indigenous people. Today, it is a bed and breakfast for those brave enough to stay. The visitors and staff report seeing a woman with curly hair, apparitions of children, faces in the mirror, handprints, cold spots, voices, footsteps, and other strange sounds. The most famous ghost scene is of a slave girl named Cleo, who was executed by fellow slaves for not poisoning their house mistress. Cleo has been seen walking around the plantation ever since. Number 8. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. We all know Gettysburg is the place of the bloodiest battle in the Civil War, where over 50,000 people and soldiers died. However, ask just about any ghost enthusiast and they will tell you it is the most haunted place in America. The battle itself is haunting, with the cries of men in pain, cannons firing, and the sounds of gunshot ring out. Many ghost interactions happen near the Devil's Den, a rock formation where numerous limbs and bodies were found after the war. And hauntings have been extended to many of the businesses, homes, and hotels nearby. One of these haunted places is the Haunted Orphanage, where Rosa J. Carmichael used the basement to chain unruly children to the wall. Many of the ghost sightings around Gettysburg are those of military not yet ready to retire from war. Number 7. Stanley Hotel, Estes Park, Colorado. The Stanley Hotel was made famous by Stephen King's book, The Shining, and later Kubrick's 1980 movie of the same name. The Stanley Hotel opened 4th of July, 1909, but history began in 1903 when Freeland Oscar Stanley arrived in the valley, weak and underweight. After staying there for 1 season, he was better than before. Mr. Stanley vowed to return every summer. Today, those looking for a nice haunted getaway stay at the Stanley. Of all the rooms, room 217 has been said to have a lot of activity surrounding it. In 1911, during a storm, the head housekeeper, Miss Wilson, was lighting a lantern in the room when there was an explosion. The explosion sent her through the floor and into the dining room below. Luckily, she survived, only with a broken ankle, but it is said that she is still caring for the hotel, even in the afterlife. Guests have reported some items to be moved, luggage unpacked, and lights turning on and off. Many other ghost encounters have happened in and around the hotel, such as the ghost of Casey, the golden retriever, and Flora Stanley playing the piano in the concert hall. Number 6. St. Augustine Lighthouse, St. Augustine, Florida. St. Augustine Lighthouse began construction in 1871 to 1874. Visitors come and climb the 219 steps to a breathtaking view of the bay, but many come for a chance to experience a paranormal encounter. In the summer of 1873, daughters of Hezekiah Petit, who oversaw the construction of the lighthouse, were riding a construction cart down to the water with a friend. The cart flipped over into the water, entrapping the children. Since the accident, strange occurrences have repeatedly happened. Lighthouse keepers report hearing footsteps, laughing and giggling, as well as lights turning off and on. Sightings of the spirits playing hide and seek have been reported by tourists. Number 5. Crescent Hotel, Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Built in 1876, this hotel and spa in Arkansas was originally built for luxury, but quickly became unmanageable. and fell into disrepair and closed. In 1908, it reopened as the Crescent College and Conservatory for Young Women. This institution closed in 1924 and then opened again in 1930 as a junior college. After the college closed in 1934, the Crescent was leased as a summer hotel. In 1937, they got a new owner, Norman G. Baker, a radio personality, inventor, and self-proclaimed doctor, despite having no medical degree, claiming to have numerous cures for different diseases, including cancer, turned the Crescent into a hospital and health resort. His cures mostly included drinking from the area's natural springs. The morgue, where Dr. Baker carried out his experiments, is said to be the source of a haunting, where a man has been seen on thermographic video. Other ghosts, including Michael, a worker who fell from the roof in 1886, a nurse pushing a gurney, a young female who is said to have jumped to her death, and Dr. Baker himself. Number 4. Queen Mary, Long Beach, California. The Queen Mary's creation was nothing if not remarkable. Construction began in 1930. Scotland Cunard Line did not spare any expenses on building the ship, despite the economic collapse during the Great Depression. In May of 1936, the Queen Mary set off on its maiden voyage. When World War II started, this magnificent ship was stripped down and dubbed the Grey Ghost, transporting as many as 16,000 troops. The ship's 1,001 transatlantic crossings were accompanied by 49 deaths, and today 150 known spirits can still call the Queen Mary home. A few places of known hauntings include the first-class swimming pool, where people have reported seeing a young woman in a tennis skirt walk down the stairs and disappear. Boiler Room Number 4 was reports of a little girl in Hatch 13, where a horrific accident crushed a crewman to his death. You can still stay on board if you dare. Number 3. Waverly Hills Sanitarium, Louisville, Kentucky. Waverly Hills Sanitarium was built as a tuberculosis hospital in 1910 and has seen over 63,000 people die due to a lack of medical advances at the time. However, it is said that a lot of those deaths were due to mistreatment and experiments done to patients during their time there. At the bottom of the hill is a tunnel entrance that staff would use to climb the hill in bad weather. It is also known as the body chute, as staff would use this to transport bodies out of the hospital and out of sight of other patients. These tunnels are said to be haunted by those who made their final descent through it. Other locations are places like Room 502, where a ghost nurse has been reported. One of the more famous ghost sightings is a little boy named Tim walking across the halls. There have been reports of other full-body apparitions, disembodied screams, footsteps, and fleeting shadows. Number 2. Eastern State Penitentiary, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you were a criminal, the last place you'd want to be was at Eastern State Penitentiary. The facility was built in 1829 and was originally designed to hold 250 inmates. However, that number was more of a suggestion. Research and reports suggest inmates numbering up to an astonishing 1,700. Infamous gangster Al Capone was one of the inmates held in the penitentiary. The prison was the first of its kind, with the introduction of solitary confinement and their own yards, so there was no contact with other prisoners. Eastern State Penitentiary was no life sentence, with prisoners being brutally mistreated, including lashes, being tied to their chairs for days, being buried up to their heads below the cells, and being sprayed with water and left out in the cold of winter, with a full history of madness, disease, murder, and torture. It is easy to imagine the spirits of troubled souls left behind roaming the facility. Cell Block 12 is known for hearing the echoes of disembodied voices, while in Cell Block 6, several guests have reported seeing shadow-like figures rushing past the walls. However, the most frightening would be Cell Block 4. Many have reported seeing the figure of a guard in the tower, as well as ghost faces. In the early 1990s, Gary Johnson, the maintenance man, said he opened an old lock when a force grabbed him so tight he could not move. Number 1. Winchester House, San Jose, California. This architectural marvel in San Jose, California was home of Sarah Lockwood Pardee Winchester, widow of the late William Wirt Winchester. who was the son of Oliver Winchester, founder of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. Sarah and William had one child who passed away shortly after she was born. After William had passed, Sarah moved west from New Haven, Connecticut to San Jose, California, where she bought an 8-room farmhouse. Sarah consulted a spiritualist who informed her that a curse was placed on her by all those who had been killed by Winchester rifles. To appease the spirits, she would have to build a house night and day. In 1886, construction began and continued until Sarah passed in 1922. Some particular designs are the odd-sized doorways, stairways leading to nowhere, and windows overlooking the rooms. Many employees and visitors have reported seeing the ghost of Clyde, a maintenance man who can be seen pushing a wheelbarrow into the basement or fixing the fireplace in the ballroom. In the water tower, it has been reported that footsteps can be heard even though it is off limits. Guests have reported feeling their clothes being tugged on, and have additionally reported shadowy figures down the hallways and in windows.
If there is any place you think I missed, please leave a comment down below. It greatly helps. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to come hang out, I'm over on Twitter.